Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming again today. This is round two, take two. Um, I'll just start from the very beginning. My name is Karen Mears. I'm with Reliable Title and Escrow. Nora Drake, who is hiding behind me.
Hi.
Yeah.
I have to come over here and get on the camera for a minute.
Say, come here, Nora. See, there she is, Nora Drake. She is the manager of our Johnson City office. We have an office in Kingsport and in Greenville, and that is managed by Candy Spillman. Like I said, I was trying to think of kind of beginning of how I got all started, which was back in 1996. So that tells you how old I am. Started in banking and then got into title business in 96. Jan Horn and myself started a company in Johnson City with an attorney that wanted to start a title company. Things were going well. And unfortunately, in 2007, he decided to do things that were probably unethical, not legal. So Jan, myself, and two other folks in the company jumped ship in 2007 to start Reliable Title. Now, if any of y'all think about that, that was a leap of faith because 2008, the housing bubble hit. So the reason I kind of brought this up is, long story short, we're still here. Taking that leap of faith was the best thing we ever did. That attorney is no longer in business, and also I don't think in practice law. So it was a good leap of faith. So we've had lack of faith was all a part of this. So that brings us to here. We are one of the top producers for Chicago Title across the state, which means that very low claims and very high premiums. So we take our business very seriously. I was trying to think what kind of separated us from some of the other title companies, because there are a lot of title companies and they're very, very good. We have the same product. In my mind, the difference is our people, our training, our technology, and our customer service. Everybody talks about customer service. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I don't care if it's by email, phone. You all are on the front line. And the Vidal Sassoon logo, if you don't look good, we don't look good. Your clients look to you to know everything. Loans, appraisals, title, surveys, inspections, everything. And so we want to be your resource, giving you knowledge, or if you say, you know what, I just need to make that phone call. We've got, at times, you might list something and say, that'll kind of go into an estate situation. What questions do you ask when you find out that one of the folks have passed away on title? So that's what we want to provide for you, whether it's estates, whether it's Yay! Whatever, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But that's what we want to be here for you. So with that, I want to kind of open it up because I think the best way to get to know what you guys need as far as to help you all, have questions. Tell me some of the things you've run into over the past couple of years. I know one thing is that you have all had multiple bids, but I think that's kind of calming down a little bit. Are the listings on the market a little longer? Some of those things, but we want to hear what we can do for you guys, especially going into this next season, which really none of us have experienced. I mean, I've experienced downtimes, and I get it, but this is a weird one. It's very weird. And so I think as a team, we're in it together, and how do we continue to be successful? That's what it's all about. So with that, can you all tell me some of the things that you've run into that, or what are you looking for in a title company? You know, that's the thing. If I want to be able to provide what you guys want.
We have a lot of people, especially that if they're looking for land or something before they even want to put in an offer, sometimes they want to be positive. Hey, what are the covenants and restrictions on here? And sometimes we don't know, or if we can't get it, or it's old, or if we can't go to the CRS and buy the little points to pull it, then we don't know at that point. And a lot of times the other side will say, oh, you're good, and then comes restrictions pop up, and we're like, whoa, I thought there was nothing here, and it's like you can't have this, and then there's a big kind of conflict
Right.
at that point. What is like a good practice?
That's a great question, because we actually have some lenders when there's a whether it's a condo or a PUD, and they'll call us to pull restrictions.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. We're a resource. Yeah. I mean, whether you've got a contract or not, if that's we do that. It's kind of like, so you can prepare. If you're listing a piece of property, you want us to pull restrictions, or if you've got a buyer that's looking at a piece of land and they're curious, we'll pull them. I mean, title searcher is what we use.
And how long does that take? Say if we do call you, we don't have anything under contract, but we have something coming up or have a buyer interested, how long does that take?
Doesn't take, it depends on our time. I mean, right now, I could sit down and pull it up right now and print it off and email it to you or whatever. Yeah. That's what, like I said, that is something that is really easy access. Same thing. That's people will call and say, somebody passed away. We're not really sure what's involved. Can you do a quick search? That's easy. We just have a conversation. Let me pull the deed. Okay. Well, there's two on title. There's partners on title or whatever, and one's passed, but the other hasn't. All right. All I need is a death certificate. That's one of those questions. If somebody's passed and they're on title, we have to have a death certificate no matter what. But we do that. It's kind of like if someone says, can you do a quick update on something and see what's out there, what's recorded? Judgments. Somebody says there's a judgment on the property. Did it get filed in the registrar's office? Well, let me check. I can do a quick search. So that's the resource that we want to provide so you're prepared. Because I'm sure it's going to get, like I said, it's going to get interesting this next year with what's going to be listed and so forth. But again, the more knowledge you have, the more confidence your client's going to have as well. What's going on.
Bouncing off of that, what is the process look like for if you do have restrictions and you have the buyer and they're wanting to proceed but they're hesitant because of those restrictions? What is the process of getting those changed, or
That's a great question, because that does come up. No, that's a good question. It depends. If restrictions are subdivision driven, we have to read the restrictions to see how those can be changed. Does it take the entire subdivision to sign off on it, or does it take the original person that put the restrictions in to change it? That's like when you get into land situations and an individual put it in the deed, and then whoever put it in the deed has to be the one to remove it.
What if they pass?
The heirs.
Okay. So that can be a lengthy process.
It can be. Yeah, it depends. It really all depends on the restrictions. How can they be changed? And usually there's a paragraph or something in typical subdivision restrictions on how that can be altered. If it's lot specific or land specific, where did that begin? Like no mobile homes. Where did that begin? Can that get changed? Who put that in there? Yeah. That's a great question.
So I had a piece of land last year that closed, and it had no mobile homes, but you were allowed modulars. Now, the person who originally owned that piece of land was gone. They went to the heir. The heir got mad, wouldn't do anything. Who is actually going to enforce that if the only people that know about it are technically the buyers and the seller? And the sellers didn't really know much about it.
Well, and that's one of those gray areas, because people are going to do what people are going to do.
Right. So that's where I'm like,
So
how
now,
can somebody actually
now the problem
enforce
is,
that?
if they go get a loan, they're not going to be able to get one because it's in violation of the restrictions.
Okay. So there's where the okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, well, that's not a good situation.
Well, we got it all. Somebody else ended up buying it, so it all worked.
It all works.
Somebody else ended up buying it, so it all worked.
That's when it's hard. I mean, but the restrictions are a big deal. If you all ever are interested in if you need us to pull those, we're happy to do those.
Actually, I think it was at the time at your office to close with you guys, and then it ended up terminating.
Oh, okay.
And then somebody else bought it and wasn't going to put anything on it, so it didn't matter.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a question that I just was it was like a house with 5 acres up in Unicoi and a shooting range across the street. I mean, to where we're showing the house and it. And the guy like loves guns and was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I can't wait. Like, I want to, fix up guns in my garage, and then I love shooting, so clearly there's no issues here. And I was like, yeah. Property goes up into a mountain, into the woods, and then they're the ones that got restrictions back and said no chickens. And they're like, I can't have chickens? Like, there's a shooting range across the street. I have 5 acres of woods. Like, what is this? And you know how Unicoi with the golf course and things like that had these grand plans that didn't work out. And so from this strip to this strip, there's these restrictions, and there's a double wide, a single wide on the other side of
East
it.
side of it.
But it's just right in here is that business. So what I told them was, okay, legally, technically, you can't do these things. You're also up there, So I was
nobody may even.
Yeah, so I was like, here's your.
Did the restrictions come from the individual, or did it come
I looked
from?
in there. I think it was they were going to make a subdivision. They're like, hey, we're going to make a subdivision. It's going to be great. And then they put some houses, and they're like, just kidding, no more subdivision. And it just kind of stopped.
Gotcha.
But that's still in there when whoever decided to sell all this off wanted to keep it up. And then I think it was in everyone in the subdivision type deal. And then you're not supposed to be able to have a garage, but then I found 2 houses down. This dude has this other garage, so it's kind of.
It's one of those things that if a neighbor, or if there's a neighbor gets mad.
That's what I told him. Yeah. If a neighbor
And
gets
pulls
mad
it,
and
there'd
knows
be
about it.
Yeah. When you start getting up to like Johnson County,
Yeah.
that place is a mess
Yeah.
because they don't have county commissioners to approve subdivisions.
Yeah.
So the cutting up and the maneuvering and it's and it's a shame because it's a really pretty area.
Questions to our underwriters, and can we get something in writing from you all saying that was okay? The amount of time that it's been, not really illegally subdivided, but not,
Yeah, 'cause it's not.
properly signed off on.
They don't have there's no commissioners to do it.
Plus, there's no building inspector.
Nope.
Plus, you can if you're in town, you can actually have whatever as long as there's no deed restrictions to it or subdivision. There's no restrictions in the county.
That
I had 4 acres up there. And
there's
somebody
no
wanted to put
commissioners
cows.
to.
He's Mountain City.
Yeah, I grew up there.
Well, you.
And I had 4 acres listed. Some people wanted to buy it to put cows on. I was like, you can't put cows on in the city. I called the deeds office. She said, there's no restrictions. You can put cows on it.
Yeah,
I
there's
was like, wow, okay.
there's no commissioners to monitor or do any of that. So because when someone's got 20 acres of land, state statute states that if you carve it up and cut it up, if it's less than 5 acres on any of those, you have to get it approved by a county commissioner. And so but you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
That must be how I got mine split up. Didn't have a problem. I bought a rental, and it had a trailer in the back, and it was 1 acre.
Yeah.
And I needed the trailer off, so the surveyor surveyed it off. They said, you're going to have to go to the planning commission. It never happened. I closed, and I was fine.
Is that Johnson County?
Yeah.
Yeah. But everybody else that I know of, county-wise, you have to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it actually is it makes it hard when we get some of those surveys up in Johnson County, especially when they're really old. When we get something that says go, and go to the chestnut tree or go to the rock in the side of the road, well, move the rock, and then you don't have a point. So, or poles, if the word poles is in the legal description, you got to get a new survey. And those aren't cheap anymore. I was talking with Nora yesterday, and I saw an invoice, and I was like, holy cow. So, yeah, and it was, So, but it is what it, there's nothing we can do about it, so.
Ellie's getting lunch because she has to leave at 12. If anybody else wants to go ahead and get your plate of food, maybe like one at a time class.
Oh, no, y'all, I'm here to help you all, so you all do you, okay? I'm here, we are your resource today, so,
I have something I'm not wearing.
I do have another just question because I communicate with you guys a lot. So usually, of course, we have the JC orders and the kids orders to initially reach out to send the contract and everything. and I usually talk to Nathan a lot.
Mhm.
So what is your like chain of command, if you will? So when I send that, is there a specific person on the orders email that I'm talking to?
What happens when you send to JC orders, KP orders, or GV orders? That gets everybody in the office.
Okay.
So that if Nathan is out, or if Morgan in our Kingsport office,
Yes, I've worked with Morgan too.
yeah, and then Trish is in our Greenville office, they're kind of the lead order openers, and it may change a little bit in Johnson City. I think Michelle.
Yeah, we have a new client coordinator. Her name's Michelle McClure,
Okay.
and she's wonderful. She's doing a great job. Nathan he is starting to focus on some of our marketing items and administrative support. The marketing piece is a little off topic, but I thought I'd go ahead and get it in there. So we have partnered with a program called Breakthrough Broker, and it's because we are a top producing company. It's something for you all. It's not title related. It's marketing help for you all. There's templates on there. Nothing is branded, so you can use your own branding. So we'll get you all signed up for that today. But Nathan, he's becoming our go-to person on that and working with it. It's an awesome program.
And what's the name of it?
It's called Breakthrough Broker. So it was founded by a broker, and he just saw a need for what this is. So you can do like Instagram posts really, really quickly that look fantastic, and there's no cost to you all, totally free. I think you can upgrade on the platform, but the free materials that they put out are really, really good. They also have business planning tips and workshops, really great webinars. So it's a really, really wonderful tool. We took a look at it, and I was like, I think this is something that would really be useful for all our, the folks that we work with. So yeah. So Nathan's learning. He's doing great with it.
He is, yeah. And I'm going to go back to kind of what you were saying too, is that if all three offices work together. If you want Johnson City to process something, but you need it closed in Kingsport or Greenville, we don't care. We just want you to send it to us. So that's, because some folks have just a relationship with one of those offices, but it really needs to close over here. We also have a mobile closer if they need to go do that. We also have the ability to do remote online notarization. That was supposed to really take off, but it's kind of like there's a stop because the lenders need to have what's called an e-vault for the note. So until those lenders get established, that remote online notarizations as a whole is kind of gotten delayed. But it's kind of like this is the time to start showing you can do this as a lender to stand out.
What does that look like, the remote?
It's actually, for lack of a better way, like FaceTime, but secure.
So you still, okay, so that's...
You're secure. So folks down in Florida, folks down in Florida will connect with the notary, and they're communicating this way. But it's an ability, and there's checkoffs to make sure the person is who they say they are. And they'll, and essentially have them sign the paperwork. It's all e-signed, and be able to notarize it. There's a way to do a digital notary, and we do have digital notaries on staff to do this. So they'll have a digital notary sign it, and then when we have the documents, it's recorded by what's called Simple File, because you don't actually have anything.
Yeah.
You don't have any, there's nothing there. Yeah. So everything is pretty much email, but it's in a secure platform. Pavazio is one that we use. That's just the platform. We use them to do it. We also, with our software, Qualia, I know I talk about that and we communicate through that. They also have a RON product. And Melissa Neeson, who is VP of Operations, has been working with them to see if that is feasible, because it might make things easier for us, technology-wise, because we don't have to key everything in. It just comes together. So we're taking a look at that to see if that's another way of providing this, to be ready when it hits, because it's going to hit. I'm surprised it hasn't with COVID, because that really got hot and heavy, but the lenders weren't ready.
Just why do you...
Signing outside under tents.
Yeah, through the window.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had the drive-through window. We had a table like outside the window and inside the window, and so yeah, it was. Creativity was wild during 2020. So
why do you think lenders weren't just legality concerns?
I think it's I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really know other than it. Everybody's been talking about it, but there's some that are not wanting to move towards that. But then when COVID hit, it was like, oh, that e-vault, whatever's involved in that e-vault, because they have to have original notes somehow. That's where how that gets all set up. So that might be a good thing to ask. Is some of the lenders that you have.
Are there any lenders that you know of already that are able to do that and use that?
I think United Wholesale. That's. In other words, if I don't know who else is, they're kind of if the broker, it's a national mortgage broker, could use United Wholesale, Franklin American. Some of these other, they have a choice, and so, but United Wholesale I think is one that has the e-vault, and I think Eastman's coming close. I know.
Getting there.
Yeah.
They just started doing e-close. It's a hybrid. They'll do part of the documents that can be signed electronically with the clients, and then they're still doing the documents that need to be notarized at an in-person wet signing. So, but it's on its way. They're once they implement that part, I feel like the rest will be at some point coming.
So, and I think it's a great service, but as being old school, the closing table is supposed to be a celebration. And not to have everybody together. I mean, 99% of the time, everybody gets along. And it's that 1% that just, but.
Which I usually will call ahead and ask if I can have split rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got that in each office. We've got 2 conference rooms, and then actually in Johnson City, there's even another room that's really called what do we call that again? Client corner. Yeah, I'm old. Client corner. So that, and you guys probably don't need it anymore, but there was a need to have realtors or lenders are on the road and crap, I need to print something out. Come on in the office. Get online. Do what you need to do. It's a separate room. Some's a separate room, some's not, but it's provides you with a resource if you're out and about. So, but I think some of that, it's still there for anybody. People have come there and signed contracts, sales contracts. So we can reserve rooms to do things like that.
And I think you might have touched on this, but if we have like a deal going in Kingsport, but everybody lives in Johnson City, they can drop their earnest money or something like that off in Johnson City, even though we're working out of the
But that's what's nice about this crew is that there's
Oh, canal.
long time ago at that other place, the attorney was trying to have offices compete with one another. You know how dumb that is?
I do like that you guys.
Yeah, because it's like, well, do you want to deal with that? Well, I'll just go somewhere else where they're all not fighting for the business. So that's why her and Candy and Mel, they're kind of I call them they're the A team. And so they're the ones that really work together, whether it's marketing or operations, management. They're the crew that, and they call me with questions, but they've already got it figured out. So, but that's a good question. They all work together. We don't care as long as you come to us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, y'all get something to eat.
Okay.
We are going to have a continuing education class January 24th at NETAR, and it's going to be it's called All My Exes. And it's about divorces and marriages and how that affects title and so forth. So we're putting together a flyer right now, and then NETAR probably, I think, will email everybody. So
Maybe we should call it All My Exes from live in Tennessee and Virginia.
I know. Well, I think what we've got is all my exes live in Texas until they move to Tennessee. I think that's.
That'd be a good class.
Yeah. That's what we've got some good things, and I'm trying to get with NETAR to get them scheduled for 2023.
One of our attorneys is coming from Fidelity. He's an underwriter, so he's really good.
He's really good. He's good at, some of this stuff you want, but it's important, but he keeps it lively.
It should be good.
Yeah.
It should be nice.
We just had a presentation. We were back in Nashville last week, and he did a presentation. I thought, because I'm used to hearing him or seeing him, I've got this title thing, and he gives me this whole nice thing, and this is what you need to do. I thought very busy, and it's like, oh, no, he's entertaining. So,
Dinner and show.
yeah.
Lunch and show.
Yeah.
Thank you. And their sponsors, thank you for coming on with True North Marketing and being sponsors. We're glad to
Thank you for, I'm going to say, I really like this relationship. Wednesday was Wednesday, right?
Yes.
It was such a pleasure to be able to get out of the working world and see what we all can do to reach out. So anytime, I love your way of doing all of this. So thank you all.
It's so awesome to see actual in the community things done in a positive way. Because real estate is definitely, I mean, it's the heartbeat of a city, town. I mean, that's where everything ought to live somewhere. So it's great. It feels really good.
And then the other, I just thought of this because I'm trying to think of how to give you tools too. On our website, if you look down to the lower right, there's ways to get fees. So if you wanted to put in purchase price, things like that, you can do that. So yeah, I just realized that. Now that doesn't mean you can't call us. Okay, that's just there so you have it for any reason. I ended up talking to a realtor last night. He called. Well, he texted, and his question, it was like, okay, I can't do this. So I called him. So that was like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And it had to do with a mom passed away. She was the last one on title. The son has cancer, going through chemo. So, how do we do, can we do a power of attorney? What do we need to do? Do we need to open probate? The attorney's saying you don't need to. Well, in the title work, yes, you do, depending on the situation. So those are, and there is no contract. He's trying to figure whether it's feasible to list, because even the heir's like, I don't care if it just goes to foreclosure. I don't want to deal with it. So you know what I mean? So that some of those questions come up. That's, even though they don't have a contract, we're here to support you guys. Okay? So.
Do you guys have an online earnest money thing that they could do earnest money through online? Is that a thing?
Repeat that.
Can you guys do earnest money online? Like instead of have someone coming to bring it to the office, is there a way to pay it online?
You can do it. Yeah. You can do it, but the thing is, the Tennessee statute has what's called the Good Funds Act, which means there's only a few ways that we can accept funds as good funds. Wire, cashier's check. I know a lot of folks want to pay by credit card. Can't do that. Some folks want to do what's called an ACH transaction, where they initiate through an automated clearinghouse. We can't do that because at ACH they can pull back. And so that's why it ends up being having to
Okay.
either wire, overnight a check, that type of thing.
Okay.
So, good question.
But you all will hold earnest money.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we offer receipts so that you all have something for your files to show that we have it.
My receipts are the best receipts. They look the best. So if they need one, I say, I'll let Nora do my receipts.
Joey prefers that our agents let lawyers' offices and title companies hold our earnest money.
I understand that. I mean, no, that you're not at first. We've been doing one for another company probably for 1.5 years, 2 years. So.
It works too, so that way we're closing and we're not like, crap, earnest money.
Yeah,
Right.
it's there. Well, and I'll tell you, and this, we typically, if it's a personal check, we need to make sure, just like you had to, that 10 business days that it clears. So in a cash deal, just be wary of that when they're bringing that, and we'll figure something out. We could, yeah, we can do that too. Hi.
In the middle of our real estate meeting.
Welcome.
Almost 35 years ago. We got my license now. Whoever is its turn, an agent, I'd like to talk.
Okay. Pick one.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
There.